To record. Okay, so this presentation is, we're having this presentation primarily to help us so that we can effectively communicate our business and to effectively run presentations. So in the course of this session, I would like us to ask questions. If you do have questions, we will take questions at the end. But I also encourage that if you can take notes, it will help you a great deal, because while we're here this evening, like I said, there are some key skills that are very much needed in this business. And one of them is the ability to present your business to people, whether it is one-on-one via Zoom, or you're talking to a large audience, or so whichever the case, which we're going to look at very shortly. Now, before we talk about this presentation, there's something I believe so strongly in. And for me, this is a driving force in this business, and which takes me to the next slide. And that's the ability for you to discover the real you. And I'm using rediscovering there because so many times we have come to that point where we feel we know who we are. But you just realize that every now and then you wake up and then it's like even you start wondering, I can do this. This is something about me. I can actually do this. There are so many people out there that don't even know the capacity they carry. They don't even know the abilities in them until circumstances, present itself. For instance, you may never tell that so person can scale a fence until a dog begins to chase them. How many of you have been chased by a dog before? And somebody whom you feel cannot jump this fence, all of a sudden, because a circumstance has presented itself, you see this individual jump this fence easily. At that point, the person has rediscovered that, I can actually do this. I have the ability to do this. I have the capacity to do this. So we're going to be looking at you rediscovering yourself before we venture properly into the whole presentation. And for me, I believe the Bible very well. I believe scriptures. I'm a Christian. So if you're here and you're not a Christian, please pardon us without apology, but just flow with us, and you'd understand what we're doing. Okay. So the first question is who are you, first of all? So most times, so am I a man? Am I a woman? You'd understand why this is very important in this our business that we're doing, because our business, the nature of this business is very, very spiritual, because it has to do with money, and anything that has to do with money has to do with people's lives. That's why you hear people say those days that your money or your life, because when somebody says your money or your life, it now means that both of them have equal or are placed in equal pedestals. So a big question is, who are you? And to answer this question, because this is really, really important, if our ability to answer this question will help us a great deal, especially when we're running this business. And if you read Genesis 1:27, it says, God created man in his image. In the image of God, he created them, male and female created them. So the question is, are you a man or you're a spirit? We'll see the answer very shortly. Okay. Now, before we look at the answer to that question, I want us to watch this video. It's going to help you a great deal. And as you watch this video, I want you to open your mind, because you're going to see something here that will help you and help us in the course of what we're going to be doing very, very shortly. Okay, so let me play this video, and I'll come back after this video, and then we'll just interact a little bit, and then we'll continue.
Eventually, you're going to want to drink from the can, right? So. Then I looked at that shoe and wondered, what about the other foot? I have to tie both shoes first, make sure they're loose enough, and slip both feet in. And at the age of 6 years old, I learned the importance of thinking outside the shoe.
Most of our limitations are self-imposed and come from a narrow mindset. I try to encourage people to change their perspective and enlighten them to think outside the shoe.
Underneath the can is a little bit of a lip here. You can actually use that. Use your left knee. Think about the last time you said the words, I can't. When we say I can't, we set ourselves up for failure. We start to believe what we say. And persistence means not giving up. It means not using those two words, which I've tried my best to eliminate from my vocabulary. I challenge you to do the same.
We are in a culture that seeks out negativity, a culture that thrives on the victim mentality, a culture that insists the glass is half empty.
Sometimes our fears are even greater than the fear of heights or the fear of spiders. Sometimes our fears are deeper. Fear of rejection, fear of failure. We all have them.
Everyone has had to face the fear of rejection at some point in their life. Everyone has done something to hide a part of who they are. I've learned how to embrace my difference and to connect to my audience through humor.
Inevitably, kids come up to me and ask, what happened? This is what happens when you don't eat your veggies. And you can get there. You can practice that tonight.
I will.
Thank you, John.
I've had the privilege of touching people's lives all around the world. I've learned how to fly an airplane with my feet. It's time for you to think outside the shoe and see how high you can fly.
Okay, so now, if you watched that video, a few things will cross your mind. I mean, this woman doesn't have hands, but she's doing amazing things. She can fly a plane, she fights taekwondo, she does a whole lot of other things that even people that are complete would not be able to do. Well, that brings me to something. It means that beyond this physical flesh that we have, there is the spirit in every man that has the ability to do great things. And the moment we realize that in a business like this that we are doing, that impact that has to do with the lives of people, it means that greatness can actually be achieved here. Because true greatness comes when we focus on people and helping people to become better. And we can only become better if we develop ourselves in the area of effective leadership and communication, which is why we're here this evening. So I want to quickly talk about creative thinking and effective communication. You see, success first happens from within, when ingenuity, that thing that God has put in you, and creativity meets with external circumstance and elements. You see, and another point that is really important is that no one will listen to you unless they are hearing their voices from you. What this means is that the moment you start talking to somebody, the moment you start talking about your business to somebody, most times we want them to hear what we are saying, but we forget that it's not primarily about even what you are saying to them. It's about what they are hearing from you saying. Because your words, whatever I am saying, it must become flesh. It must mean something. It must be a material that somebody must have. For instance, if I'm talking to somebody about my business, the person should be seeing a car, because those words that I'm communicating is already giving that person hope if he or she doesn't have a car, that he can drive a car. If I'm talking to somebody about my business, the person should be seeing a house. Why I am talking about a company that does A, B, and C, the person could be seeing a house. If I'm talking to somebody, the person could be seeing total healing from either the product. I am telling you about the efficacy of the product. I am telling you about what the product can do. But what you are seeing or hearing is that you can get cured when you use this product. Now, this is very, very important. And that's where creative thinking comes in. You see, this creative thinking that we're talking about, most times we feel that you need to have a special kind of ability to do special things. No. From the onset, from the very first day that you and I were created, the ability to creatively think was deposited in us. That is why we have people who do mago-mago. We have people who are smart. We have people who manufacture planes. We have people that can dupe everybody, do 419. We're all human beings, but that creativity in us, we choose to wield it in a way that we want to. We choose to either twist it negatively or use it positively. And it's the same thing if you read this, what I have there, Genesis, when God created the world and everything was looking like it was a mess. And what did he do? He allowed the creative ingenuity by speaking, and every situation was turned around. Now, so the same way in your business, you started by signing up, and by signing up, you started building something. And in the process of building, you are also going to build other things. You're going to build people. You're going to build opportunities. So the question is, when you look at your business, what do you see? What is it do you see? Okay? Do you see it for yourself? Do you see it for other people? And the answer to this is very, very important, because it will open up the next thing I want to show you about the business. It will change your perspective about leadership, and it will change your perspective about how this business is run. Because the day we realize that this thing called network marketing that I have in my hands, this company that I'm running now called Shineway, is not just another opportunity to make money. It is more than an opportunity to make money. It changes everything. So another thing is business or spirituality. You see, money, like I said, is first spiritual before it is represented in material form. So whenever we are talking to, because the way people come on board is that they have to sign up, they have to get products and all of that. And you and I know that a lot of times it takes more than once or 2 or 3 times you talk to people and over before they eventually say yes. The reason is because they are not letting go of that money. Why? Because it's their life. They are wondering, am I going to lose my money? And which is the underlying thing for almost everybody there. Am I going to lose my money? If I put in this money now, I've done something like this before, it did not work for me. What if I do this one now? Is this one going to work for me? So, and that is where creative words come in. You see, if your creative words isn't taking or aren't taking full control of money, it will always elude you. It means that what I am saying to you, or what I am saying to a prospect, if the thing is not entering the person in a way that he or she knows that I don't have any option, they will end up not signing up. So I have to repeat the process over again. That is why we are connecting the dots. And that's why when we look at the fact that money is spiritual and we have to be creative, then we must develop what I call value-driven conversations. Now, let me ask us a question. Most of us, the way we present our business, the way we run our business, I want to ask us a genuine question. Apart from the fact that we are interested in people signing up, what we want is just sign up, just sign up. I got pay now, madam, pay now. I don't show you the business, I don't show you the product, just pay. That's what we're looking for. But let me ask you a question. The same thing that you are telling your prospect, if another person comes to you as a prospect and is telling you the same thing, how would you respond? Would you want to listen to them for a second time? So just assume that I'm talking to you about my business and I want you to sign up. And I'm saying, even though I did not explain it very well, or I did not give you any good reason why you should sign up, I just start saying, okay, just pay now. Madam, just pay now. Imagine, flip the coin now, that somebody else comes to you. You walk into a shop and you're saying, how much is this shoe? The person says, this shoe is 14,000 naira. And you now say, but why is the shoe looking like this? You now say, the owner of the shop now says, okay, just pay, carry the shoe now. Just pay, carry the shoe now. So how would it appeal to you? So these are very important, genuine self-assessment that we must do. And another thing is when you talk to people, what do they hear? Because there's somewhere I'm going. When you talk to people, what do they hear? Do they hear belief, or they are seeing a desperate man who just wants to make money off them, who is not even concerned about their growth, who doesn't even want to support them eventually when they sign up? He just wants, or he or she just wants to get money off them. So when we talk to people, what do they hear? Do they hear hope or personal interest? I should be able to present my business or talk to someone about my business, and hope should come alive in the person, because there's something this business can do to their lives. It is either they have a family member that is going through a particular sickness, that when they hear about my opportunity, hope comes alive again, that my mother, my father, my sibling, or whoever it is, if they take this product, it can cure whatever challenges they have. Or it is either that when they listen to me and I tell them about this business, it should be different from whatever they've heard before. So they should say, that means this car, this Mercedes-Benz, who I never feel drive before, I can drive it from this company. I can drive it because of what this man, this woman is telling me. And that's where we're talking about value-driven conversations. Now, very quickly, I want us to know these if you are running this business, because if you know these things, it will give you peace. That's why I said, know these and know peace. And this appeals to every one of us. Because for me, this is one of the things that gives me peace in this business. The first thing is this: you must focus on the things you can control, which is what we call the process. There are some things that no matter what you do, you cannot control. For instance, you cannot control people's opinions. You cannot control what somebody chooses to see when I run this presentation or when I talk to them. It's just like we are all gathered here now. I cannot control your perception about what I'm saying. I can only do my best to communicate to you. I cannot even control the fact that if you want to log out of Zoom now, I can't stop you. You can choose to just press the leave button and you are gone. But guess what? Because I cannot control that, I have to focus on the things that I can control, which is the process. I have to focus on the fact that I must deliver this presentation to the best of my ability, because that one I can control. The second thing you need to know for you to have peace is that to obtain maximum success in this business, you must be willing to be selfless and be selfish at the same time. To be selfless as a leader, it means that you will be ready to carry a lot of people along. And to be selfish means that you must put your success first. So you should know when to sacrifice and when to be selfish, so that you don't mix it up, so that you don't take the time that is allocated for your own personal thing to go and be doing for somebody else. So you must know the balance between the two as a leader, because no matter what happens, our business is a people business, but at the same time, you are also one of the people in the business. So in as much as the business is a people business, it is also as important as it is to you, as it is to the people out there. And the third thing is that the people that you are looking for are not looking for you. So you don't seek them. If you don't seek them, you will not find them. This is another thing that you must know that will give you peace. Our business is not ShopRite. It is not a boutique where somebody who needs a shoe knows that he has to look for the next boutique and go and buy a shoe. It is not a barbing salon where somebody who wants to shave his hair will just go out and look for the next barbing salon and just walk in and shave and pay and walk out. No, it's not a restaurant where if you are hungry, you just go and pay, eat your food and pay. No, our business is not like that. Our business is a business where 70% of the time, you have to be the one to go and look for the people and then show them the business so that they can now understand the business. It is only a few percentage that people would ordinarily on their own maybe just chat you up because of your status that they are seeing, because of your Facebook advert or whatever channel you are using, that they can just come to you directly and say, tell me about this, your company. So the moment you understand this, you know that you have to be out there. So this informs me, or this tells me, that if my business is not ShopRite, if my business is not a restaurant, and if my business is not a barbing salon where people can freely and easily walk in, I need to create a system that can always keep me connected to people 24/7, so that I will always have people to show my business to. So This is what we mean by know this and know peace. Now that we've said that, let us jump straight into the main thing, which is presentation, okay? The ability for you to communicate irresistible value in your business. Whether you're talking to a madman or you're talking to somebody who is Wole Soyinka, very learned, very intelligent, very wealthy, very rich, because our business doesn't have barriers. There are no limitations to who you can show this business to. If you are opportune to enter an elevator with Dangote, you have to show him the business. If you are opportune to sit in a Keke Napep with somebody who couldn't pay, or you're just wondering, who is this man, this woman? You have to show him the business. Now, something happened 3 days ago that changed my perspective again about this business. For those of us that know the Lagos office, I was coming out of the Lagos office, I was coming out and I saw this woman coming in, and I didn't even know she was coming to our office. And in my mind, of course, I greeted her, but never in my mind would I even think this woman can do network marketing or is a network marketing person. Maybe because of the way I saw her. Now, this was just my mind thinking. So lo and behold, when I came back into the office, I saw her inside Shineway's office. So I passed and I left. She finished what she was doing. When I came downstairs again, I saw a car, a very clean car, parked outside, downstairs. This woman was the person that drove this car there, and she was the person who came and entered this car. I stood outside and I was looking at her. She drove this clean car away. Now, somewhere in my mind, I started saying, John, if you would have seen this woman in the market, ordinarily, she was not close to this car, would you have shown her the business? The answer was probably no, because somewhere at the back of my mind, I had already started prejudging and saying this woman cannot do the business, maybe because of the way I saw her. Now, what am I saying? I want us to have a perception, because we're going to be looking at presenting now. Because sometimes this presentation we're talking about is not just what happens on Zoom. It's not just what happens in an event. It could be 30 seconds you have with somebody you met in a shopping mall. It could be 3 minutes you have with somebody you met in a taxi. It could be 5 minutes you have with somebody you met in an ATM machine. But at the end of the day, remember that the moment you open your mouth to say something about your business, two things will happen. They will either understand you, get value, and say yes, or they will not understand you, not get value, and say no. So I have to choose that for that short duration that I have, I must communicate something that will leave the person with an impression. So that even if they don't sign up that very moment, I have planted a seed that will begin to grow. Over time, you will realize that they will eventually say yes to the business. And that's what we mean by communicating irresistible value. And you must understand that the moment you begin to talk, you are either selling something or somebody is selling something to you. Because everybody is selling something. The person who is telling you no, that they are not going to do this in your network marketing business, guess what they are selling? They are selling rejection to you. And you, that you are telling them about your business, you are selling acceptance to them. So the moment we are having a conversation, what we are doing is that we're having a transaction. As I'm talking to my prospects, whether they are on Zoom or it's one-on-one, it's a transaction that is going on. At the end of the day, one person is going to buy another person's product. The person is either buying my yes or I am buying their no. That is why most times we give up. So when you talk to somebody about your business, they say, no, me, I cannot do this kind of thing. No, this kind of network marketing business is not my thing at all. Guess what they have done? They have sown a seed into you that could even discourage you. A seed that even you is wondering what is wrong. So you will now feel very, very discouraged about your business. So this is very, very important, because your level of perception about the business you're doing and what you are dishing out there, that is why I said presentation, a good presentation is as good, can be equal to a good sales, right? Now let's move on quickly. So I want us to take note of the following things, because this is going to help us a great deal. The first thing is this: presentation is a high income skill that is inevitable if you must succeed in network marketing and become a leader here at Shineway and eventually become rich. Now, when I say presentation, I want us to understand what I'm saying here. This is not primarily what happens on Zoom. This is not even primarily what happens in a hall where you have 2,000, 4,000 people gathered. No, it could even be something that is happening with that Uber driver that came to pick you up. It could be something that's happening. You went to see somebody in the office and the secretary is there on the system. You are seated, the secretary is seated. How do you start engaging the secretary to show them this is your business? You're in the market and you come across somebody, maybe the person you went to buy something from. You know that this man has 70,000 to sign up. The money is not the issue. The 140,000 is not the issue. The guy get the money, the woman get the money, but how do you show them this business? What are the first things you're going to say for them to even open up and say, oh yeah, continue the conversation. I think I'm interested. These are the things that define presentation. The second thing you must note is that you must always remember that the energy and the atmosphere in your presentation will determine the flow and eventual outcome of whatever you're presenting. So the moment I start talking, the flow, the energy, the atmosphere will determine whether the person is ready to listen to me or not. This is also very, very important. And also, these are some key rules that I want us to know. And for everybody who is doing this business, presentation is something that you cannot run away from. But when we hear presentation, we think that it is one. No, it is who you must be in this business. So the rule number one is this. You are not presenting to impress, but to leave an indelible impression. This is what I mean. Your presentation could change someone's life forever or not. You might just meet somebody whom they have done everything they can. They have tried everything. Their businesses have failed. Nothing seems to be moving. They have prayed and prayed and prayed and fasted. In short, they just even lost their job. But you see, what you say could change their life forever or not. Because sometimes we underestimate the power of our business. You see, the moment we begin to realize what this business can do, because I have seen people's lives that have been changed from this kind of opportunity. People that ordinarily, if you take them to a corporate setting, there are so many people succeeding here that take them to bank, take them to Chevron, take them to become an engineer, they will never succeed. Take them to become medical doctor, success no go come. But they are here and they are doing very well. So your presentation, your conversation can change someone's life forever or not. Rule number two, you must separate your feelings from the process anytime you are talking or you're presenting. There was a time that I'll be running presentation and people will be typing in the chat box, it's a scam, it's a scam, it's 419. They are here again. This is how they are duping people. This is how they are scamming people. So when you are hearing those kind of things, it could demoralize you. One time I was even talking to a lady. She was the one, she clicked on my this thing on Facebook and I wanted to talk to her. She started telling me that I should go and get a life, this thing I'm doing. Another time, a woman reached out to me. She saw the advert and she said she's interested. I called this woman. I started talking to this woman. Now, after a while, it took like 1 month or 2 months. So when I was going through my list again, and I was saying, this woman, let me even call her again. I called this woman. She had even forgotten that she was the one that reached out to me first. The woman started insulting me that, see, go and get a life. This scam that you are doing, this 419 that you are doing, it cannot get you anywhere. I tried to explain to her. I said, let me even show you my conversation with you. You are the one that chatted me up first that you're interested in this business. Why are you now calling me a scam? And that was how that conversation didn't yield anything. So in moments like that, it's not really about you. It's not that you are the one doing anything wrongly. It's not that there's anything wrong with you or there's anything wrong with your business. It is just that the individual, whoever they are not a good fit for your business. So that is when I must know how to separate my feelings from this business. That is emotional detachment. I must emotionally detach myself from the outcomes of whatever happens. because I cannot control that one. Remember, we said at the beginning that there are certain things that you must know to give you peace. Focus on the things you can control so that you can have peace of mind. For instance, I cannot control the way that woman responded to me because I did not ask her to talk to me like that. So I have to detach myself so I can focus on the next person and move my business forward. Are we together? Now, write this down. There are 4 things that your presentation or your conversation with people should have. 4. These 4 things, I am telling you, they are the fundamentals of every ability to sign people up with ease. These 4 things. And the first one is recognition. What do I mean by recognition? Some of you that have been attending Zoom, you would see that if we are talking, we will make statements like type in the state you are connected from. If you have been following our Zoom, you will see us make statements like type in what money is in your language. What are we doing? We're recognizing the audience and their cultures, their locations, and their tradition. We're giving them a sense of belonging so that they will know that this Zoom that you are in is not just you alone. We are here. We understand that you are here. We appreciate that you are here. We recognize your language. We appreciate the fact that you are Igbo. We recognize the fact that you are Yoruba. So tell us what money is in Yoruba. It is a strategy. It is deliberate. So when people respond like that, it gives them a sense of belonging because the little recognition you've given to them, it means a lot. It could be complimenting somebody that you are talking to physically. It could be little things like, madam, this your hair. Hi, I think I should buy something like this for my wife. I think I should, Oga, this is your shirt. What? I beg, where did you get this shirt? I need to get it for my husband. You know, those little things that you just recognize, compliment people, goes a long way. And another one is inspiration. Inspiration means raising people's hopes for them to believe that anything can happen, regardless of where they are. So they are inspired to believe that this Shineway business, this network marketing can get me to my destination. And the third thing that you need to know is your presentation or your conversation you have is motivation. Now that you have inspired them, you need to motivate them to take the next step. So this motivation, a lot of times, is where we tell people to pay now. So you have shown them the business, they are inspired. Now you have to motivate them to do. You have to motivate them to act. That is why we make statements like actions and decisions are the game changers and all of those kind of things you see in our presentation. So even you, when you are talking to people, there's a way you can be talking one-on-one with somebody and you can tell them that, see, Oga, this business that we're doing, I know a man that is succeeding here. You are even more intelligent than that man. You even have what it takes naturally to do better than that man. Guess what you are doing? You are already inspiring them. Now, how do you motivate? Now that I've brought them close to the edge of the river, I want to push them now. So what do? I begin to motivate them to let them know that, you see, this business, if you start this business now, if you take the right action and decision to say yes and to start this business, I am telling you, if it took that man 6 months to succeed, your own will just be 2 months. Your own will just be 1 month. Your own could even be just 3 months. You become a multi-millionaire and you will see what this business can do. So, and the fourth thing is education. Education means getting them to see, to hear, or to know something they probably didn't know before that they are now hearing in a different light. For instance, in our presentation, there is one aspect that we used to talk about this industry, that we will talk about what happened between 1999 to 2010. We'll now talk about what happened from 2010 to 2011, about the Unilever companies that came in, they did binary, and then from binary. So most people don't even know that background. A lot of people don't even know the difference between all those Unilever and binary. They don't even know what same status distributor is. So when they attend your presentation and they begin to hear things like that, guess what? They are being educated. They will now know the difference between Shineway and the difference between the company they did a few years ago. So these are some 4 fundamental things that your conversation or your presentation should have. And there are 3 major types of presentation, naturally or generally, So the first one is one-on-one. Somebody told us here that he's good in one-on-one. One-on-one means you meet somebody, you're talking to the person, so it's between you and the person. In a bus, in a plane, in the car, your Uber driver, in the market, or your neighbor, whatever the case. The second one is two-on-one. Two-on-one means you and somebody, you are doing a combo, and it's also very effective. So I don't want to talk to this individual alone. So what do? I carry somebody else. I take my leader. I take my upline. I say, sir, ma, I have this person that I want to show this business to. I have spoken to them, but I need you to come with me again. So this is a two-on-one. And then the third one is one-to-all. One-to-all is what we do in our Zoom sessions. It's what we do in physical presentation where you have 20, 30, 50, 100 people gathered on Zoom or in a physical location, and we are running the business presentation to show them our opportunity. So these are the three major categories or the types of presentation. So at any point in time that you are talking to somebody, you're either doing one of these. It could be on a phone call, it's one-on-one. You can even do two-on-one on a phone call. We call it three-way calls. You can do any of those on a phone call. Are we together? So those are the various ways. So are we together? Now, these are the three major ways that you can effectively show somebody your business. Now, let's move on quickly. So now you might be asking, this thing, right, that we are saying about presentation, we've seen the various types, at least we've seen a few things. So what is it that makes my conversation or my presentation compelling? Okay, so what are the elements? What are the ingredients? It's like cooking a soup. If you must cook a good egusi soup, you need this, you need this, you need a spice, you need Maggi, you need onions, you need oil, you need this. If you have to cook a good jollof rice, you need this, you need this. So in a good conversation, a presentation, what is it do I need that are very essential to give my presentation that flavor, right? So the first thing is that you must understand your product or your industry or your company. You must have that knowledge. It is very important. The second thing is that you must engage people. And like I said, when you attend our Zoom, we say things like type in 111, right? If it's a physical session, you can ask people questions. Simple questions like, do you understand what I'm saying? Simple questions like, what was the last thing I said about this product? What was the thing I said? I said something about our company. Do you remember? So you must engage people in a way that they will flow with you to keep their attention active, because it takes 5 seconds. It takes 5 seconds for somebody to be disconnected from you most times and never come back again. They might just be disconnected and that's all. Somebody could be on Zoom and one message from somebody on WhatsApp or Facebook or Twitter or whichever platform has taken them away from you. Number 3 is that you must personalize whatever content you're giving to them. What do I mean? You must give them that sense that this thing that I'm showing you, I am convinced about it. See, it is not even a question. I am not doubting this business. You must make it personal. A lot of times we talk to people and we expect them to assume and decide. No. You see, decision is something that a lot of people don't know how to make. So many people don't know how to make decisions. So they need somebody to get them to make decisions. They need somebody to help them to make a decision. That's why somebody would just start. You hear people say, so which package do you think I should start with? Guess what? They are struggling with making a decision. So you must personalize these things so that when they hear you, they have no other option than to be convinced that this thing this man is saying, if I follow him, I cannot fail. So because you have made it personal, and then you must lead the people. And that's what I was talking about earlier. Leading them means tell them to pay. Don't ask them to pay. Most times we ask people to pay. We ask them questions like, Oga, so when are you paying? When are you going to pay? No. Instead of asking them that, Ask them, which package are you starting with now? I do that a lot. See, you cannot run an effective presentation with somebody and go and start all over again. Because the moment you have spoken, you have presented, you have led somebody, you now go and start giving them the power by asking them, when are they getting started? You have taken that power, that seed you have sown, and you have given it back to them. They'll now tell you next month. They'll now tell you next week. Meanwhile, they have the money there. So instead of doing that, tell them, which package are you starting with now? This one works very well. Guess what? You have put them in a tight spot. So even if they are afraid to lose their money, because of what has happened, some of them will even tell you, okay, let me start with consumer. But if you give them the options, they might not eventually pay that moment. And then finally, you must help them discover something new. So what I mean by helping them to discover something new is that there is something about this business that they have never seen before. There is something about this industry. There's something about ShineWay that they've never heard before. They've done something, they've done this other one, done that other one, done that other one, but they didn't succeed. This is a different terrain. This is a new, different environment. So you can use the buy one, get one free that we are doing and use it to close everything. You can use that buy one, get one free to build a strong conviction in them to see that this business is different from what they have done before in the past. Are we together? Now, I want to talk about the power of questions whenever you're conversing, you're having a conversation, or you're presenting your business. I always say this whenever I'm talking. You see, every question opens up the mind, and every statement shuts the mind. For instance, two people are in a situation. One person says, there's nothing I can do about this. It's over. It's over. Guess what? The moment you say that, you've shut the mind down. No matter what happens, you can never see beyond it's over. Another person says, no way. This cannot happen. This cannot continue. I must find a way out of this. What do I need to do? Who do I need to call? Where do I need to go to? How do I need to start? That second person would come out bigger, better than the first person. Why? Because that first person made a statement and closed the mind. This other person asks a question and opens the mind. That is why questions are very, very important when you are talking to people in this business. It helps you to help them, and it helps you to keep them, and it helps you to give them a sense of belonging so that they are carried along with what you are doing or whatever you're presenting with them in the opportunity. So at this point, I am going to allow us now, because of time, okay? So at this point, I am going to get us down to ask one or two questions so that we can, to be sure that we have been following and everything we've been doing so far about this presentation that we've had today, okay? This presentation training that we've had today. So I'll open the floor now